Donald Trump was born into wealth and privilege, which played a crucial role in his rise as a businessman and eventually as a political figure. His father, Fred Trump, was a highly successful real estate developer who specialized in building affordable housing in New York City, particularly in the outer boroughs. Fred Trump's business acumen and ability to capitalize on government-backed housing programs allowed him to accumulate significant wealth, which Donald Trump inherited and leveraged to build his own empire. Although Trump has often claimed that he started his business career with a small loan of $1 million from his father, financial records indicate that he received much more support, including loan guarantees and substantial inheritances that helped him expand his real estate ventures. Trump's early business career was marked by ambitious and high-profile projects. Unlike his father, who focused on middle-class housing, Donald Trump aimed for luxury developments, glitzy high-rises, and extravagant properties. One of his first major successes was the transformation of the Commodore Hotel into the Grand Hyatt New York, a project that involved complex negotiations with the city government and substantial tax incentives. This deal set the tone for Trump's business approach, which often relied on aggressive negotiations, media publicity, and leveraging political connections. His most famous property, Trump Tower, was completed in 1983 and became a symbol of his brand, opulence, power, and success. Trump expanded his business empire into various industries, including casinos, golf courses, and even airlines, though not all of his ventures were successful. In the 1980s and 1990s, he took on highly leveraged projects, acquiring casinos in Atlantic City and launching Trump Airlines. However, many of these ventures faced financial difficulties, leading to multiple bankruptcies. Despite these setbacks, Trump proved to be a master at maintaining his public image as a successful businessman. He frequently appeared in the media, published books like The Art of the Deal, and became a household name through his real estate empire and lavish lifestyle. One of the most significant factors in Trump's continued wealth was his ability to turn his name into a brand. By licensing the Trump name to real estate developers, hotels, and various consumer products, he was able to generate revenue without directly managing many of the properties bearing his name. This branding strategy helped him maintain financial stability even when his real estate ventures struggled. Additionally, his involvement in entertainment, particularly as the host of the reality TV show, The Apprentice, further solidified his reputation as a business mogul and dramatically increased his mainstream popularity. The show, which aired for over a decade, not only boosted his personal brand but also generated millions of dollars in earnings. Trump's transition into politics was gradual. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, he expressed interest in political issues, often commenting on trade, taxation, and foreign policy. He briefly explored a presidential run in 2000 as a candidate for the Reform Party but did not pursue it seriously. Over the years, he maintained relationships with politicians from both parties and contributed to political campaigns, but he remained primarily a businessman and media figure. His political aspirations became more pronounced in the early 2010s when he started voicing strong opinions on issues like immigration and trade. His involvement in the birther movement, which falsely claimed that Barack Obama was not born in the United States, brought him significant media attention and endeared him to a segment of the Republican base that was skeptical of Obama's presidency. In 2015, Trump officially announced his candidacy for the presidency as a Republican. His campaign was unconventional, marked by blunt rhetoric, controversial statements, and a focus on populist themes. He positioned himself as an outsider who would challenge the political establishment, railing against Washington elites, the media, and career politicians. His campaign themes included immigration reform, economic nationalism, and America First policies, which resonated with many voters who felt left behind by globalization and political correctness. Despite facing skepticism from political analysts and members of his own party, Trump quickly gained momentum in the Republican primaries, defeating seasoned politicians like Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz. His ability to command media attention, both through traditional outlets and social media, gave him a unique advantage over his opponents. The 2016 presidential election was one of the most contentious in modern American history. Trump faced Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton, a former Secretary of State and First Lady with decades of political experience. The campaign was marked by controversies, including Trump's inflammatory remarks, leaked recordings, and allegations of Russian interference. Despite widespread predictions that Clinton would win, Trump secured a surprise victory, winning key swing states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. His appeal to working-class voters, particularly in the Rust Belt, proved to be a decisive factor in his success. His victory was met with both celebration and protest, reflecting the deep political divisions in the country. As president, Trump pursued an agenda focused on deregulation, tax cuts, and reshaping the judiciary. His administration passed significant tax reform legislation, appointed 3 conservative Supreme Court justices, and implemented policies aimed at restricting immigration. His foreign policy was marked by a mix of isolationism and aggressive negotiation, leading to trade wars with China, renegotiations of international agreements, and direct diplomacy with North Korea. However, his presidency was also characterized by frequent controversies, investigations, and an impeachment trial. The Russia investigation, led by special counsel Robert Mueller, scrutinized Trump's campaign for potential collusion with Russia, though it did not result in criminal charges against him. Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic became a major issue in his presidency. His initial response was criticized for downplaying the severity of the virus, and his administration faced challenges in coordinating a national response. While Operation Warp Speed helped accelerate vaccine development, the pandemic resulted in significant economic and public health crises. The 2020 presidential election took place against the backdrop of the pandemic, racial justice protests, and deep political polarization. Trump ran for re-election against Democrat Joe Biden, who positioned himself as a unifying figure promising stability and competent governance. Despite high voter turnout and a contentious campaign, Trump lost the election, though he refused to concede and repeatedly claimed that the results were fraudulent. His challenges to the election results culminated in the January 6, 2021, attack on the U.S. Capitol, where his supporters stormed the building in an attempt to overturn the certification of Biden's victory. The events led to Trump's second impeachment, making him the only U.S. president to be impeached twice. Since leaving office, Trump has remained a dominant figure in Republican politics. He continues to influence the party through endorsements, rallies, and media appearances. He has also faced multiple legal challenges, including investigations into his business practices and potential election interference. Despite these challenges, he announced his candidacy for the 2024 presidential election, seeking a political comeback. His campaign continues to focus on themes of nationalism, economic protectionism, and opposition to the political establishment. Trump's rise from a wealthy businessman to a political leader reflects a combination of inherited privilege, media savvy, and an ability to tap into public sentiment. His success in real estate and branding allowed him to build a powerful image of wealth and success, which he leveraged into political influence. His presidency reshaped American politics, deepened partisan divides, and altered the Republican Party's direction. Whether he will succeed in returning to the White House remains uncertain, but his impact on American history is undeniable.